Chapter 1: The Janitor's Gift. The story starts not on a riverbank or beside a glittering lake, but in the far corner of an old fly shop tucked between a gun repair shop and a shuttered bakery. The place had no name, just a fading open sign and a rusted bell that clanged like a cowbell every time the warped door swung open. It was mid-September, the kind of damp, fog-laced day when summer dies quietly and trout start dreaming of colder water and slower meals. Inside, the shop smelled of cedar, must, and pipe smoke. The shelves were lined with cracked fly boxes, dusty reels, and forgotten patterns from anglers long past. But what caught young Ethan's eye, on a visit he almost didn't make, was a box labeled "Mop Files Do Not Sell." Behind the counter stood a wiry old man with bright eyes, skin like dried leather, and a ball cap that simply read, "Property of no one." He looked down at Ethan's calloused hands, spotted the river dirt under his nails, and nodded. "You ever mop a river clean?" he asked cryptically. Ethan blinked. "Excuse me?" The old man chuckled. "That ain't no insult, son. I mean with this." He opened the box. Inside were rows of gaudy, squishy flies, bright pink, purple, neon green, absurd-looking things that made traditionalists cringe. And at the end of the row, nestled in black dubbing and crowned with a gold bead, sat the one, the Purple Janitor. I tied this fly when the fish stopped taking anything else. Mid-fall, early spring, when they're moody. Cold, lazy, this thing wakes them up. Ethan frowned. "Looks like a dust bunny on a hook." "Exactly," the old man grinned. "You ever seen a trout pass up a struggling worm or a drowning grub when the water's cold and cloudy? This imitates panic, or maybe confusion, or just dinner. I don't know, but I do know. It works." With a wink, he handed it to Ethan. "On the house, but don't cast it until you hear the river hum. And when it works, and it will, you come back and tell me what took it." Ethan thought he was being messed with, but he took the fly. 2 weeks later, just after a rain that turned the water to stained glass, Ethan stood in the shallows of a backwoods creek known more for beer cans than fish. The only noise was wind in the bare branches and the occasional splash of a surface swirl. He tied on the Purple Janitor and waited. At first, nothing. Then, the river began to hum. A soft vibration in his boots, a ripple through the fog, like someone had struck a tuning fork under the current. Ethan flipped the line once, then let the mop fly dead drift past a submerged log. It paused, twitched, and then it disappeared. His rod bent, drag screamed, and something deep pulled with the kind of weight that didn't belong in such shallow water. It was on. Chapter 2: Cleaning House. The fight was unlike anything Ethan had experienced. This wasn't a trout's usual dart and dive. Whatever was on the other end was angry, older than the river it seemed, moving with a slow, powerful churn. His rod bent double, reel shrieking like it was in pain. Then, it stopped. The line went slack. Ethan's heart sank, but as he reeled in, the mop fly was still there. Except it wasn't the same. It shimmered, faintly pulsed. The gold bead head now glowed just for a second, like it had remembered something. He cast again, this time upstream, just ahead of a shadow near the bank. The fly barely hit the water before it vanished in a flash of silver and pink. Another hook set, another monster. But this time, Ethan was ready. He leaned in, guided the fish through the current, and finally brought it to net. A wild brook trout, thick as a forearm, draped in galaxies of spots. Its jaw was scarred, one fin clipped, a survivor. It stared at Ethan not with fear, but almost recognition. He released it gently. Later, back at the shop, Ethan found the place dark. The bell didn't ring when he opened the door. The counter was gone, so were the shelves, only the box remained. "Mop Files Do Not Sell." Taped to the top was a note. "You cleaned up well. The river remembers. Tie your own now, and listen when it hums." He never saw the old man again. But every fall and early spring, when the water's cold and moody, Ethan ties up his own mop flies. Pink, purple, sometimes olive, and heads out. He never tells anyone exactly where or what he's really after. but he always brings one fly with him, the Purple Janitor, just in case the river starts humming again.